Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today. Okay, so have you ever found yourself in this situation? You've spent like years studying English grammar, memorizing lists of vocabulary, doing all the
All right.
exercises.
All the textbook stuff?
Exactly. And then when it's actually time to speak, you just freeze. It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's something that we hear about all the time. And
Mhm.
people always ask, why? Why does that happen?
And more importantly, how do we get past it? How do we break free?
It's like trying to learn how to swim by just reading a book about swimming.
Right. You can know all the theory.
You can understand the physics, the strokes, everything.
Yeah.
But you won't actually learn until you jump in the water. The core idea is that doing something is fundamentally different from just knowing about it.
Precisely. Fluency doesn't just magically appear from learning rules. It really comes alive when you start using the language in real conversations.
Yeah. Think about learning the guitar. Imagine two people, right? One studies music theory for hours, watches videos, reads all the books.
Okay.
The other one, they just pick up the guitar and start playing. Every day. Maybe they sound terrible at first. They stumble.
Sure. But they're doing it.
Exactly. Who gets better? It's obvious, right?
Right.
It's the person who actually plays.
So true.
And that's really the mission for this deep dive. If you've felt stuck in that cycle, lots of study, not much speaking, this is for you. We're going to unpack some really practical tips, real-life examples, strategies from our source material.
Things you can actually use.
Yes, to help you stop overthinking and start speaking English with, well, more confidence. The whole focus is shifting from only studying to actually practicing speaking every single day.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The first big hurdle our sources point to is conquering that fear of speaking. It's a huge thing for so many learners.
Hmm.
You know, those thoughts like, oh no, what if I make a mistake? Or what if people laugh? Or just constantly worrying about your grammar or how you sound.
Oh, completely. Our sources basically say this is almost universal. Feeling nervous, shy, maybe even a bit embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's totally normal. You're stepping outside your comfort zone.
Of course.
But here's the really crucial thing the research highlights. Everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. Everyone. And actually, from a brain perspective, mistakes aren't just okay,
Huh.
they're essential.
Essential. How so?
Well, they're like data points for your brain. Each mistake helps your brain recalibrate, figure out the patterns of the language. It's literally how you learn and optimize.
Wow, that's a really powerful way to think about it. It shifts it from failure to feedback.
Exactly. It challenges that idea that you need to be perfect before you speak. But perfection, as our sources really emphasize, it's just not the goal.
Communication is.
Right. As long as people can understand what you're trying to say, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Think about it when you hear someone speaking your native language, even with mistakes. What do you usually feel?
Appreciation, usually. That they're making the effort.
Exactly. So, try to extend that same kindness to yourself.
Good point. So the first practical step is acceptance.
Yeah, just really accept that mistakes are normal, even beneficial. Try to change that inner voice from, oh no, what if I mess up, to something like, okay, another mistake, another chance to learn.
I like that. So accept mistakes. What else? How do you actually start then?
Start really, really small.
Mm.
That's what the sources advise. You don't need to give a presentation on day one.
Right?
Just simple sentences. Maybe talk to yourself in English while you're doing chores. Or practice with a friend who's also learning, someone supportive. Even just speaking in front of a mirror helps.
Speaking to yourself, that feels a bit strange, but I can see how it removes the pressure.
It really does. And another technique, which gets mentioned a lot in the sources, is called shadowing.
Shadowing. Tell me more.
It's basically where you listen to a native speaker, say, from a podcast or a video, and you try to repeat what they say word for word, almost at the same time. You mimic their intonation, their rhythm.
Ah, okay. So not just repeating, but mimicking the sound and flow.
Exactly. It trains your mouth and ears to work together, kind of bypasses that overthinking, translating part of your brain.
Yeah.
It helps you get used to the physical act of speaking without getting stuck in your head.
That sounds incredibly practical, something you can do anytime, anywhere, really.
Totally. The main takeaway here is don't let fear hold you back.
Hmm.
The more you practice speaking, especially using techniques like shadowing, the more that confidence will just grow naturally.
Okay, so we tackle the fear, we accept mistakes. What's next? How do we actually start doing it?
Right. So once you've started managing that fear, the next big idea from our sources is about activating your English. like starting to speak from day one.
Day one, even if you feel like you hardly know anything.
Yes, that's the key insight. So many people think, oh, I need to wait until I know more vocabulary, more grammar.
Yeah, the I'm not ready yet feeling.
Exactly. But the evidence suggests you should start speaking immediately with whatever words and phrases you already know. Don't wait for some perfect future moment.
Okay, that's a big mental shift for a lot of people, I think. So how do you do that? How do you activate it?
Well, one of the simplest ways we already touched on, talking to yourself.
Right, the narrating idea.
Yeah. Describe what you're doing. I'm making coffee. How you feel. I feel tired today. What you see. The sky is blue. It sounds simple, maybe even silly.
But it gets you forming sentences out loud without pressure.
Precisely. It builds that comfort, that fluency in just putting words together in English.
Okay.
Shadowing again. We mentioned it for fear, but it's fantastic for activation too.
How so?
You're actively producing the sounds, the rhythm. You can use podcasts, movies, YouTube clips. Just pick a short bit, listen, pause, repeat. Really focus on matching the sound. It directly helps pronunciation and makes speaking feel more automatic.
So it trains the connection between hearing and speaking.
Exactly. Bypassing the need to translate everything first.
Makes sense. And what about the complexity? Should we be trying to use fancy words right away?
Definitely not, according to our sources. Keep it simple. That's another huge principle. Don't try to make long, complicated sentences when you're starting. Focus on clear communication.
Get the message across simply.
Yeah. Like instead of trying to say, I would like to formally express my profound gratitude for this truly wonderful and exquisitely prepared culinary experience.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just say, thank you for the food, or this is delicious. It's clear, it's natural, and it works.
Great example. Simple is often better. Any other activation tips?
Yes, engage with real people as soon as you feel even slightly ready. Find an online English group, maybe a language exchange partner, even just small interactions like ordering coffee in English if you're in a tourist spot.
Take those small opportunities.
Absolutely. The main point is
Yeah.
start now, start small, use what you know, and be consistent. So here's a challenge for you listening. Promise yourself, today you will say something in English out loud, even just a few words.
I love that. A concrete action step. Okay, so we're starting to speak, maybe talking to ourselves, trying shadowing. But how do we keep it going? That leads us to consistency, right? Making it a habit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because speaking just once in a blue moon, it won't really move the needle much. The real improvements the sources consistently show come from making it a daily habit.
Daily. That sounds daunting to some people, maybe, like needing hours every day.
And that's a common misconception. What's really encouraging is that you don't need hours. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of focused speaking practice a day can make a huge difference over time.
Really? Just 5-10 minutes?
Yeah. It's the consistency, doing it every single day, that builds momentum and makes the connections in your brain stronger. Way more effective than one long session once a week.
Okay, that makes it feel much more achievable. And who do we practice with daily? Does it have to be a native speaker?
Not at all. That's another key point. You can talk to a friend who's also learning. You can join an online group where everyone's practicing. You can even, as we said, just talk to yourself consistently.
So the barrier isn't necessarily finding a native speaker.
Nope. But if you do want to connect with others, especially native speakers or other learners, there are tons of great online options. Language exchange apps are brilliant for this.
Like Tandem or HelloTalk.
Exactly. Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky. There are quite a few. And also things like Facebook groups dedicated to English practice. These communities are full of people looking for partners.
And you can practice through text or voice messages or even video calls, right?
Yeah, lots of options depending on your comfort level. And actually, sending voice messages is a fantastic tip our sources highlighted, especially if you're a bit shy about live conversation.
How does that help?
Well, you get to practice speaking, forming your sentences, but you can, take your time, maybe re-record if you stumble. You get the speaking practice without the immediate pressure of responding instantly.
That's a really smart bridge towards live conversation. I like that.
Yeah, it's a great stepping stone. And another practical idea is to set a small, concrete daily goal. Maybe commit to saying at least 5 sentences in English out loud every day. Or having one short conversation, even just text or voice message, with one person daily. Something small and trackable.
Makes sense. Keep it manageable so you actually stick with it.
Exactly. The bottom line really is consistent daily speaking, even just a little bit, will get you improving much, much faster than just burying your head in grammar books. You're building that muscle memory.
Okay, consistency is king. But let's talk practicality. Finding people to practice with, that's often where people get stuck. Where do I find these partners? How do we find our tribe?
Yeah, that's a very real question. You're motivated, you want to practice, but where? The good news is there are more options now than ever before.
So where should someone start looking?
Well, the easiest place, if possible, is close to home. Friends or family members who speak some English or are also learning, even if they aren't fluent. Just starting simple chats with them can build that initial confidence.
Remove some of the pressure, maybe?
Definitely. But, okay, what if that's not an option? Then the online world is your oyster.
The language exchange apps we mentioned.
Absolutely. HelloTalk, Tandem, Speaky. These are specifically designed for this. You create a profile, say what language you speak and what you want to learn, and it connects you with people. You can text, send voice messages, do video calls.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It is. And beyond apps, think about online communities. Facebook groups for English learners, specific subreddits on Reddit, even Discord servers. There are thousands, literally thousands of learners out there looking for practice partners.
So it's about finding those groups and joining in.
Yeah. And if you prefer something a bit more structured, maybe look into speaking clubs or conversation classes.
Online or in person.
Both. Websites like Meetup sometimes list local language exchange events or conversation groups. Platforms like italki offer tutors for one-on-one practice, but also informal conversation practice. And many language schools now offer online conversation classes.
So lots of avenues depending on your preference and budget.
Exactly. But here's the really crucial tip that comes up again and again in the source material. You have to be proactive.
Meaning?
Don't just join a group or download an app and wait for someone to message you. You need to reach out. Send messages, introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm learning English. Would you like to practice sometime?
Take the first step. That can feel intimidating, though.
It can. But you have to remember, most people in these communities are in the exact same boat as you. They want to practice. They're probably just as hesitant to reach out. So if you take that initiative, you'll likely find people are really happy to connect.
That's a great point. Be the one to start the conversation. Okay, so we've found people, we're practicing consistently. What other major roadblocks do learners face?
One of the biggest internal challenges is the habit of constantly translating in your head, thinking in your native language, and then mentally translating everything into English before you speak.
Yes. That feels like the natural way to do it at first, but why is it actually a problem?
It creates a huge bottleneck. Firstly, it slows you right down, thinking, translating, then speaking. It makes conversation feel really slow and clunky.
Okay, speed is one issue.
And secondly, direct word-for-word translation often doesn't work well between languages. Sentence structures are different, idioms don't match up. So the sentences you produce can end up sounding unnatural or just plain wrong in English.
Right. You lose the natural flow and rhythm of English.
Precisely. So the goal, the ideal, is to train your brain to actually think directly in English, skipping that translation step altogether.
Okay, that sounds like the holy grail, but how on earth do you train your brain to do that? It sounds hard.
It takes practice, for sure, but it's definitely achievable. And our sources offer some really simple, practical tips to get started.
Let's hear them.
Okay, first start with simple word association. When you see an object, like a chair,
Okay.
try to not think of the word for it in your native language first. Just see it and think, or even quietly say chair. Directly link the object to the English word in your mind.
Just bypass the native word entirely.
Yes, build that direct link. Another great technique is to narrate your surroundings, but internally this time.
Like the talking to yourself idea, but in your head.
Kind of. If you're walking outside, consciously think in English. The sky is blue today. That's a big dog. I feel happy. Simple observations, simple thoughts, but formed directly in English.
So you're making English your internal monologue for everyday things.
Exactly. It integrates it into your natural thought process. Another tip, try using an English-only dictionary.
Instead of a bilingual one.
Right. When you look up a new English word, read the definition in simple English. It forces you to understand the meaning using English itself, rather than immediately jumping back to your native language for a translation. Keeps your brain in English mode.
That makes sense. Keeps you immersed.
And one more, which I really like, is to actually speak your thoughts aloud when you're alone.
We keep coming back to talking to yourself.
Yeah, but it works. When you're thinking about what to do next, or just musing about something, try saying those thoughts out loud in English. It helps your brain practice forming sentences naturally and gets you used to the sound of your own voice speaking English fluidly.
It connects the thinking directly to the speaking.
That's the idea. Now look, doing this thinking directly in English, it might feel really difficult and unnatural at first, like you're forcing it.
I can imagine.
But like any kind of training, with consistent practice, doing it every day, those new neural pathways get stronger. It gradually becomes more automatic, more natural.
So it's about building that mental muscle.
Exactly. Start small, be consistent, and you'll find yourself thinking, and therefore speaking, in English much more spontaneously over time.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. So just to kind of wrap things up and recap this deep dive, the core message seems to be this fundamental shift, right?
Yeah, a shift from being a passive student about English.
To becoming an active user of English, engaging with it, speaking it.
Exactly. It's about embracing those mistakes, seeing them not as failures, but as, like, essential learning moments.
Stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Right. And leveraging the incredible power of consistency, doing a little bit every single day.
Because that's where the real key to fluency and confidence lies, in that daily practice, and finally breaking free from that fear of not being perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
It's about jumping in the water, not just reading the swimming manual.
So true. And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with, something to mull over.
Okay.
If you really commit to this idea, to truly speaking English, not just studying it, think about what else opens up for you. It's not just about language fluency, is it?
No, definitely not.
What new connections could you make? What different experiences could you have? What possibilities might unlock when you can genuinely communicate your thoughts, your ideas, your personality without those old limits?